Hello, this is Kevin from AMT Software, and in this video, I'm going to give you an introduction to 2D programming in Prospector. I'm going to create a couple of projects for 2D machining, and I'm going to create some programs in those projects. So let's get started. All right, to create a project, very much for 3D, for 2D it's the same as 3D. I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to give it a job number. Project name will be wear plate. And I'm going to go browse for my file. Now I'm going to go to these program data, AMT software, Prospector, the Prospector training directory, the 100 series, and I've got my 2D machining projects. And for the first one, I'm going to choose the wear plate DXF file. Prospector can read AutoCAD DXF or DWG files. So I pick that file. I'm going to give it a material. This one I'm going to say mild steel. Click next. Prospector's loaded the part data, and first thing you'll know is that the project type is automatically set. It's checked as for 2D machining only. It's grayed out. I can't do any 3D programming on it because this is all wireframe. If it had surface data in it, I could do any 3D and 2D programming. But since it's only wireframe, I can only do 2D. Parts machine position is fine. I'm going to select the power source configuration, mold components, and click next. Skip the drop plane. Now I want to set my block. Just like in 3D, the block is defined based on the bounding box of the all the part data. And in this case, I don't care about the text or the dimensions or the side view. I just want to create my block around this, this blue, the part itself here. So this profile and these circles. So this bottom left-hand corner here of the part is at 0, 0, 0. If you look down at the bottom of the screen there, it's telling me that it's X, Y, and Z are all 0. So I'm going to pick this reference point here on the block page, this left corner, and I'm going to say that's my 0, 0, 0. Okay, so now my block is positioned right, but now it's too large. So I'm just going to use the dimensions that are on the part itself. So my height is 0.375. My length is 3.72, and my width is 2985. Okay, so that looks good. We got my part loaded, got my block set up. It's in machine position, so I'm just going to hit finish. Now I'm ready to do some 2D programming. We do that the same way we had the 3D programming. I'm going to click on finish, and I'm going to bring up the new 2D program wizard. Again, another wizard here. Now this is a little different than how the 3D program wizard works. In 3D, the first page, you define your window. Where am I going to cut? My cutter containment boundary. Where am I cutting? And then the second page, you get the strategy. What do you want to do in that window? For 2D, we start off with the cutting strategy page. What do you want to do? And since I was in finish, it said let's do profiling by default. But I can do pocketing, face milling, chamfer, scribe, helical, and hole making. And hole making has all the drills and taps and all that. I'll go into that in a minute. But I want to profile around this part, just the outside. So I'm going to hit next. Now I get the feature selection page. 2D program and some 3D programs have feature selection page. And they all look the same, or mostly the same. We're going to have what do I want to find. And for profiling, the only thing I can find is profiles. Then I have some options to either find by color, layer, or selected status. When I find something, it will add it to this list. And then, find, I can stop, find if it's taking too long, or clear the list if I've got anything in it. All right, so I want to do it based on selected. I need to select this outer boundary. But things are kind of a mess here. Not really a mess, but there's just a lot of data in the way. The text and the dimensions. It's a little cluttered. So I'm going to come up to View, Display, and Show by Color. And all I want to do is I want to keep the blue. I want to hide everything else, make those invisible, hide those. And now I'm left with, all right, I've got my part, my plate right here, and the side view still showing. That's fine. So now it's easier to select. And by selecting, I just click on it, and that will select it. And it turned it black. Just for this video, I'm going to change that to red, just to make it easier to see. It's done in Tools, Settings, Selected Object, red. Okay, now I can see what I have selected. Come back to the Feature Selection page. Check the Select box. It's selected only. I could also do non-selected, but I want selected. And now I'm going to hit Find Now. So this added that profile to this list. Now I need to fill in some of the other parameters. I need to know what type it is. Is this a pocket or a boss? Or I could say I want to cut right on it. But this is a boss. I'm going to cut outside. Top Z is good. And the depth is 0.375. And you can also specify a draft angle. And there'll be another video later really going into more detail about profiling. But in this case, I just want to show you just a general overview of 2D machining. All right, so I've got my feature. My first page, I said I want to do profiling. My next page, I've found the features that I want to profile. I hit Next. Now it's the same exact as the 3D program wizard. I get my tool page. I can fill in my tool parameters. The next page is the tool assembly page. Same thing. And my parameters page, where I can set any of the basic parameters. And lastly, the advanced parameters. I've got all the parameters here for profiling. Okay, hit Finish. Done there. And now I build. Now when you're doing a 2D project, it does not have a remaining stock model. So it does not have a verify phase. There's no updating of the stock model, no gouge detection, because I have nothing to, no surface data to generate a remaining stock model. So here's the program. On Select by clicking out and going into an isometric view. You can see that I'm profiling around that part, my plate. That looks good. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get everything back here by going up to View, Display, and Show All. And that will unhide everything I hid earlier. So let's get a couple of these, drill these 4 larger holes here. I'm gonna do that by going back into the new 2D program wizard. I'm gonna pick hole making. Again, I pick my strategy first, hole making. Next, now I'm presented with, again, very similar page here. I've got my options to find by color layer selected. I'm not going to do that. And then I've got options of what to find. And for 2D hole making, I get quite a list here of what things it can find. And this is based on standard drafting. Tapped holes will have dash lines around another circle, counterboard tapped holes. All of these he can find, Prospector can find. In this case, I just want simple holes. And in the list here, the dimensions, I want to specify diameter to find. And this list gets propagated with the diameters of circles that are in the part. So there, I've got a 1/4 inch, which is probably this one here, and then I've got the 3125 here. That's the one I want, the bigger one. Fine. Now it added those features to my list, and now I can continue. So for hole making, it's a little different. You specify the strategy, hole making on the first page, find your features, and then tell Prospector what you want to do with those holes. So here's all our G81 through all the different bore. We also have gun drilling and thread milling. But drilling is fine here. Let me pick drilling. It picked the tool based on the diameter of the holes. This assembly page I don't have to worry about right now. But now I've got this grid, and I think most of the other examples up to this point have been just one thing in the list. But the grid will always have this all node, which will allow me to change, if I wanted to change any of these values, X, Y, Z, or depth, I can change them individually, or I can change them all at once by using the all node. And in this case, I do want to do that. I want to set the depth to 375. You can see it changed it all for all the holes. And I want to do full diameter depth. And finish. Close that. Build the program. And load it up here. Go into an ISO view. And let's just simulate this and walk through it so we can see how he's going through each hole, drilling each one. And that's it. So that's machining, 2D machining a wireframe only model. I want to show one other example here with a solid model. I'm going to create another project, call it plate. Browse, and I'm going to select this plate parasolid model. It's metric, big mild steel again. Now this definitely is not in machine position, so I'm going to turn that off. I need to pick the configuration, and I'm going to say, yeah, this is 2D machining only. I could leave this off and still drill or profile and pocketing. Any of those would still be available in 3D. But I'm going to turn this on because it's just quicker for me to get through, because I know all I'm going to do here is drill. And when I turn that on, again, it won't create a remaining stock model, even though there's surface data. So that's a case where you'd want to use that switch. All right, so next, because I'm not in machine position, front. That looks good. I'll hit finish. And now I've got a solid model that I'm going to do 2D machining on. In this case, I'm going to go into back into the new 2D program wizard. I'm going to do hole making again. Next. And I remembered the last value in there that I used, but it also, again, propagated this list with the diameters that it finds in the model. I'm going to select 20 millimeters, and they're simple through holes. And we've got other things like blind holes, counterbore through holes. These are all 3D, and when you find them, it'll have all the information, geometric information associated with those features. So counterbore blind holes, it'll know how deep the counterbore is, how deep the hole is, the diameter of the counterbore versus the diameter of the hole. And again, there'll be another video going into more detail. But for now, just wanted to show you this 2D machining in a 3D model. So I'm going to click Find Now, and I found the 6 20 millimeter diameter holes, through holes. Next, drill. That's fine. And I'm going to hit finish now. I don't have to fill any other parameters in because it's 3D. It knows the depths. It knows it's a through hole. So when it creates that, I'm going to an ISO. Let's go into a front view actually. You can see that it comes through the bottom here. It's going through advanced. So the 3D has a lot more information involved with it. And that's why I was able to hit finish right away without having to put in any other depths or anything like that. So that's it for an introduction to 2D machining. You can do 2D machining, of course, only on, not only on, but on wireframe parts, as well as on 3D models. Well, hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at support@amt-software.com. We'll see you in the next video.